Okay, today we're going to talk about the immune system and how it relates to the lymphatic system. Okay, so the immune system is kind of divided up into two different lines of defense. You've got the innate, which includes the first and second line of defense. And all of these are non-specific, meaning they're a barrier or they try to stop any form of microorganism or anything getting inside your body. So it's not specific to a certain type. This is like your skin and mucous membrane. It tries to keep everything out. And then you also have internal defenses, which are different types of white blood cells, but they're also non-specific. So phagocytes, for example, will engulf anything. And then you have the adaptive defenses, which are specific, and this is your third line of defense. So it works with the innate to mount an attack. This is also called the humoral, which means that antibodies are secreted. So you've got the B cells and the T cells, both involved in the adaptive defenses. The surface barrier just creates a barrier against which most microorganisms cannot penetrate. It's resistant to most weak chemicals and toxins, and the acidity of your skin inhibits bacterial growth. That doesn't mean that you have no bacteria growing on your skin. It just keeps it from getting out of control. And then you got secretions such as mucus and saliva, which can trap enzymes that kill that contain enzymes that kill microorganisms and trap other particles. Your internal defenses include your phagocytes, natural killer cells, certain antimicrobial proteins, and the general inflammatory response that stimulates other immune systems to come help in the event that a microorganism made it past the skin or the mucous membrane. So a phagocyte is a type of cell. It's a general type of cell in which they completely engulf and surround a bacteria, and then they have enzymes that break it apart. And you can see the blue, in that picture there, the blue thing is the phagocyte, and then the green thing is the cell that's being engulfed. And this includes macrophages, eosinophils, and neutrophils. So here's another kind of picture. So whatever this particle or bacteria, whatever it may be, the phagocyte kind of projects these arm-like things around the bacteria and pulls it into itself. And then it has these enzymes inside that kind of surround that bacteria, and that will kind of breach the bacteria's wall and start breaking it in what's a process called lysing. And then you can see it's all broken apart, and then it kind of spits it out, and then it can be safely removed from the body, but at least at that point the bacteria can no longer harm you. Natural killer cells are non-specific, so they'll kind of attack anything. They specifically like to attack cancer cells and virus-infected cells. They secrete chemicals that kill these infected cells. And they also secrete potent chemicals that enhance the inflammatory response. And that inflammation prevents bacteria from spreading, helps in tissue repair, and the fluid that is being released into that area causing the inflammation kind of helps dilute any harmful substances that may be there. A fever is a line of defense that your body uses in order to help kill bacteria. High fevers are dangerous because they denature enzymes needed for chemical reactions in the body. But a moderate fever can be beneficial because it disrupts the chemical reactions that the bacteria needs as well. So it can cause a bacteria to not be able to function, to break apart, for its enzymes and its proteins not to be able to work very well. And then also what the liver and the spleen does during a fever is it kind of stores iron and zinc, and this is needed by microorganisms in order to carry out their processes, so it kind of holds them hostage so that the microorganisms can't get them. Then your adaptive defenses, these recognize specific substances and they immobilize or neutralize them. It also amplifies the inflammatory response. And all these are antigen specific and have what is called memory. And if you remember, an antigen is a protein found on the surface of cells that either recognizes it allows the cell to be recognized as self, which is part of you, or foreign, which is not part of you. There are two categories of adaptive defenses, cell-mediated and humoral. Involved in these is the T cells and the B cells. T cells are developed inside the thymus and are part of the cell-mediated branch. The thymus selects T cells that are both immunocompetent and self-tolerant. This means that they are ready to fight and they will not attack you. You don't want them attacking your own cells. You only want them attacking foreign cells. If they were strongly anti-self, they would attack your own body cells, and this happens to some people who have autoimmune diseases. T cells do not produce antibodies. B cells are developed in the bone marrow, are known as the humoral immunity, and they produce antibodies. And these are what would be stimulated if you were to get sick or get a vaccination, and they would make antibodies and also memory cells so that your body could remember those diseases when you came in contact with them again. So, both B cells and T cells will respond to a specific antigen, and they wait in the lymphatic tissue where they are most likely to come across the antigen again. You've got two types of cell or humoral mediated. So this is the B cells. You have acquired immunity, and you can have either naturally or artificially acquired immunity. Naturally acquired immunity can be active or passive. So you're either actively in contact with a pathogen, or you get it naturally via the mother through the placenta to a baby, or via breast milk. Artificially acquired immunity would be like when you get a vaccine against a disease, or if you were to have an injection of an actual antibody serum like gamma globulin. B cells encounter antigens and produce antibodies against them. In naturally acquired, this is a response to a bacterial or viral infection, or artificially in response to a vaccine or other attenuated pathogens, which means they're kind of weakened. Vaccines, as you know, spare us the symptoms of a disease, and their weakened antigens provide an antigenic determinants that are immunogenic and reactive. What that means is that the disease is weakened, the bacteria, the virus is weakened, so it can't actually make you sick. But what it does is it shows your B cells, hey, this is what the antigen looks like, and the B cell will go ahead and make antibodies to that without you having to actually get sick or have the live virus or bacteria inside you. So your body has antibodies ready to go should you encounter that disease, and it can fight it off extremely quickly. So it's kind of like showing your immune system the blueprint without actually having to have the live disease inside you. And then passive, you've got naturally acquired. This again is from the mother through the placenta to the baby, giving that baby some antibodies and immune resistance. And artificially, you're actually having a gamma globulin injection put into you. Okay, certain homeostatic imbalances with the immune system, and this is certainly not comprehensive, but it's just a few. AIDS, which is acquired immune deficiency syndrome, destroys helper T cells, which are a large part of the immune system, and they're phagocytes. DiGeorge syndrome, you have an undeveloped thymus, therefore you're not making very many T cells, if at all. You have SCID, which is severe combined immunodeficiency, where you just basically don't have very many B and T cells. All of these can really kind of destroy your immune system over time and make it to where you really can't fight off infections. Most people who have AIDS, for example, it's the diseases they get because their immune system doesn't work that ends up killing them. An autoimmune disease, again, is where your body recognizes your own cells, as being foreign and starts to attack it. Thrombocytopenia, your platelets become destroyed. Multiple sclerosis, or MS, destroys the white matter in the brain and in the spinal cord. And they believe it's possibly caused by a virus. Type 1 diabetes destroys pancreatic cells, causing a deficiency in insulin, and this could also possibly be caused by a virus. And then you've got rheumatoid arthritis, where the destruction of the tissue and cartilage around the joints causes damage, which can be very painful and red and swollen, and can cause a lot of problems to those who have it.